viewers at home. It's another beautiful Saturday afternoon, and you are welcome to our regular program, LCFR. I'm your regular host, Orisunayo Radiotv. I want to welcome you again to a fresh edition of LCFR. LC is an acronym of Heritage Life Support Initiative, a non-partisan, not government, not-for-profit organization that has its three thematic areas in good health and well-being, quality education, and gender issues. Like I said last week, I said this month is the LCGBV Awareness Month. And so we've been talking about gender-based violence since the beginning of this month, and I'm so glad again that we are here again today to talk about another aspect of the gender-based violence. Today we want to talk about gender-based violence and survivors and victims. And of course, I have my beautiful guest at the studio now, and later on I'm going to introduce her. Again, our topic is gender-based violence and survivors and the victims. Once again, when we come back from our short break, I'm going to introduce my guest and we'll start the program fully. Okay, I welcome you to the fresh edition of Healthy FR. I'm Orisunayo Radiotv, and I have my guest here today. She's a social worker too, and she's going to introduce herself briefly now. So my guest, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma.
You're welcome to this program.
Thank you very much, ma.
Thank you for honoring us. We appreciate your comment. So I want you to please give us a brief about yourself to our viewers at home.
Okay, Aratunde Bukola. I'm a development worker, and I'm experienced in program development, planning, and implementation. I love working with community people, and all through some years back, I've been working with community people, and I love humanitarian work.
Wow, so that means we have my twin in the house today. When you have Orisunayo Radiotv and Aratunde doing what we know how to do best, I know you are going to enjoy this program, and I want to officially welcome you to Orisunayo Radiotv station. I also want to welcome you officially to our program. This is a program that we usually have it all on every Saturday at 3 to 3:30 p.m. So, Mrs. Aratunde, the topic is GBV. Like I said, is at Heritage Life Support Initiative. November is our LC GBV Awareness Month, and so we've been talking about GBV. And I know you are a development worker. Yesterday we launched the 16 days activism against violence against women and girls, and so November is full of activities, and everything we have been saying is we want this violence to stop against any form of gender. We want violence to stop against the women, the girls, and especially persons with special needs. So, to you as a social worker, as a development worker, as a community worker, as a field worker, what is gender-based violence?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Gender-based violence refers to harmful acts directed at individuals as a result of their gender. Any harmful act directed at an individual because of the person's gender. Then gender-based violence could also mean violence against a particular person because of the gender of that person, and it could also be violence to a group of people because of their gender. Their gender. So it's gender centered. Exactly. Because you are a man, because you are a woman, so you are being abused. So that is gender-based violence. And this gender-based violence, it is rooted in inequality and harmful social norms. And it can take the form of rape, it can take the form of assault, it can take the form of physical assault, it can take the form of forced marriage, even female genital mutilation. It can take the form of physical abuse or emotional abuse, and also even intimate partners violence. IPV is even the most common form of gender-based violence that we have around.
Thank you so much. Amazing. You know, I told you the other time, she's a community worker, she's a social worker, she's a development worker, and so of course you know the stuff she is bringing to the table this evening. So I want to ask, so what are the effects of GBV on the victims and survivors?
Thank you very much for that question, ma'am. The effect of GBV on victims and survivors can be very... The effects are so enormous. The effects should not be, it's something that we have to fight against, because the effects can have long life repercussion, a long lifetime repercussion on the victim. And it includes, first of all, low self-esteem. Gender-based violence can undermine a person's self-esteem and self-worth. And this can also affect somebody's physical health and also mental health. You see, mental issue is something that most people don't take seriously, because you know, when you are sick, when you're sick with malaria, when you are down with malaria, you have fever and all that, and you are forced to go to the hospital. But mental illness is not something that brings out symptoms like that, so we neglect it. So GBV can lead to mental illness that can also lead to depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and even suicidal attempts and thoughts. The list is endless. It can lead to physical injury and shock. We lost a renowned gospel musician early this year because of gender-based violence. Intimate partners.
Are you talking
yes,
about
Orisunayo?
Okay.
So injury, she has been having chest injury because of the harm that the husband was inflicting on her. So it can lead to physical injury. It can lead to unwanted pregnancy. Somebody that is raped can have unwanted pregnancy. It can expose victims and survivors to HIV infection and other sexually transmitted infections that can even affect a person's reproductive abilities later in life. So the list is endless. It is limitless. There are so many effects. Even it can lead to disability. A person that is able can become disabled as a result of gender-based violence. It can even lead to death. It can lead to death. So it's something that we have to fight against. We have to stand up against it to eradicate gender-based violence. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, she has been talking about the effect of gender-based violence on the survivors or the victims. So I want you to break it down for us now. Is there any difference between survivors and victims?
Really, the two words are used interchangeably.
All right.
But the thing is that even both survivor and victim, they have gone through one form of gender-based violence at one time or the other. It could be physical assault, it could be injury, it could be any form of violation of their human rights. I didn't say this earlier on. Gender-based violence is a serious violation of fundamental human rights, because we all deserve the right not to be assaulted. So it's a serious violation of human rights. So both victim and survivor have gone through one form of gender-based violence or the other. But the thing is that although many people would prefer to use the word survivor involves resilience. So people that are survivors have been going through one form of help or the other. And that is the spirit, because the fact that you have gone through a kind of harm or a kind of bad experience in the future does not mean life ends at that moment. So a survivor is somebody that is coming back on track despite the kind of physical harm
so strong
after the incident
or the assault.
yes. So a survivor is somebody that decides to live life even despite putting all the past behind and deciding to stand strong and moving ahead of life.
So what about the victims?
The victims are people that have also gone through gender-based violence, but the thing is that they are still in that situation. They are still
having that problem. The consequences
are still
evident in
their lives, and they're not leaving it behind to move ahead.
That's very good. Thank you so much. So you are about yourself. You didn't even tell us about your organization.
Okay.
Oh yeah, let's hear.
Okay.
She's a program officer. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'm a program officer for Sustainable Impact Aid,
All
an
right.
NGO that love women
Okay.
and women and youth.
Okay.
So that's what we do.
Because I want to talk about your organization. You are going
Okay.
to
Okay.
tell me something about your as a program organization. What have you been doing to fight this GBV, especially on survivors and victims?
Okay. Thank you very much. As an organization, Sustainable Impact Aid, we are doing a lot. We are doing a lot. And the good thing about SIA is that the SIA board and management, we are made up of like passion, people with a heart of humanity. The board members have heart for humanity, and that is just the word. And as an organization, we are doing a lot. We have done quite a number of interventions to eradicate gender-based violence.
Okay.
You know, we did our baseline survey and we discovered that the reason why women especially will stay in an abusive marriage is because of their dependence on their spouses. A larger percentage of women are dependent on their spouses for their daily lives, for their livelihoods. And that is why they will keep enduring any form of abuse in their marriage and still stay and be enduring. So we discovered that that is number one. Then number two is poverty. So SIA has been doing a lot about economic empowerment, empowering women. Especially, in fact, we did one last year, and the majority of our beneficiaries were women, and it's because of gender-based violence. And we didn't even stop there. It's a continuous intervention. Yes, it's a continuous intervention. So we have empowered women. We discovered that a lot of women they've learned one vocation or the other, but there's no means to get startup trade tools or to move ahead to get equipment in the vocations they have chosen. So we've given them startup trade tools, hairdressing, hair dryer, grinding machine, so many tools for them to be able to stand on their feet and be able to fend for themselves and their children.
I would have loved to bring all those pictures and images for people to see what you are doing as an organization. We will do that maybe another time. I'll still call you now.
Okay. Or even if it's needed after the program, I can forward it. I can forward the pictures to you.
It's a live program.
Okay.
My producer, I don't know if he can do that.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So
That's awesome. That's amazing. You are doing well.
Okay.
I'm so proud of the organization.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So also we educate girls and women on gender-based violence. We keep telling them it's not, you don't have to stay in an abusive relationship because your life matters most. Your life matters. If you die, the man that is abusing you or the woman that is abusing you will get another spouse and life will continue.
So what about the girls? Are you doing anything about our girls?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes. We are telling our youth to desist from gender-based violence and also to speak up when they see issues of gender-based violence. It shouldn't be covered up. And we are telling our young girls and our youth not to tolerate any form of abuse. The incidents, yes, should be reported to the appropriate authorities. It should not be tolerated. So education and sensitization and also empowerment.
I also know that I've been doing so many advocacy programs.
Yes.
Because there was a day I accepted that. Let's hear that.
Yes. We are doing a lot of advocacies on even gender-based violence at various levels, at different levels, even in communities, and we are like encouraging. You see, people will say women are their worst enemies because we say a lot of women bear the brunt of many issues in the society, and at the same time we are our worst enemies. We tend to not protect ourselves and rally around ourselves when our colleague or our friend is in difficult situation. So we are trying to advocate for people to speak up, to speak out, and the people that are in any form of abuse, we are telling them not to cover it up. It should not be covered. It should be exposed, because if you cover it, you don't know if your child, if it's not exposed and the perpetrator is not brought to face the wrath of the law, you don't know if your child is going to be the victim, the next victim. So it's a cycle, or any of one's family member. So it should be frank. We should see ourselves as one and fight against gender-based violence.
Thank you so much. We want to go on a very short break, then we come back to continue on our discussion on gender-based violence, the survivors and the victims. So I welcome you back to this program, LC Half Hour, and my name is Bukola Ijade. I have my guest, the studio, Bukola Radiotv. She's a social worker and the program officer for SEA, Sustainable
Impact Aid.
Impact Aid. All right. So I want to ask this: with all these things that you have said, why do we still have a high record of GBV, despite what the organization is doing, what I'm doing as a social worker, vis-a-vis my organization and all other CSOs across the globe? We are still having this high record, like almost every day, almost every week. Something happened last week. I'm going to come online next week by God's grace to talk more on that. It's worrisome, it's disturbing,
yes,
and it's cause for real concern.
Yes,
so sometimes I want to believe maybe the legislation of the VAP law is not taking full effect. I don't really know, because I don't know why. Like everything that you have said now, you've gone through advocacy, sensitizations, awareness campaigns, empowerment, and yet we still have this high record of GBV in our society.
It's a bothersome situation, and it's something that is a concern. It's a concern to the society, because a lot of CSOs are doing, they are working seriously on GBV, even as a sustainable impact aid, but the prevalence is still high. It's like nothing is being done, despite the effort that is being put in place by CSOs. You see, the thing is that, like I said earlier on, GBV is rooted in harmful cultural norms. See, our culture is still the premise for GBV, for inequality and GBV, and that is why it's the effort of CSOs are not showing on GBV. For instance, I think a few days ago I watched a video online. I don't want to go into details of that video, but the lesson of that video. And I think a high chief was telling a woman, a celebrity, a newly wedded wife, that ìyàwó in Yoruba means ìyàwó, that you are in marriage to suffer, but that, of course, if you, as a woman, if you endure, you are still going to enjoy your marriage. So look at that. A lot of people interpret that to mean many things. And I told myself, I'm a wife as well, but me, I wasn't married to suffer. Ìyàwó. So many women take this and digest this to mean that whatever they are facing, and chew it and digest it to mean whatever they are facing in their marriage, they are to endure it. See, the covenant of life is more important than the covenant of marriage. If your marriage, if you are facing abuse of any form, in fact, even this fine. I strongly believe that both parties, husband and wife, will compromise. Of course, you'll be patient, you take a lot of things to save your marriage, but not at the expense of your life, or not at the cost of physical injury to save your marriage.
Or mental,
or psychological. Yes. So it should be both parties. Both parties entered marital agreement. So both parties should have their compromise. It shouldn't be one-sided. So ìyàwó, so you are there to, like where I was working, a woman came with the issue of gender-based violence. In fact, the issue was so pathetic, and I took it up. The organization I was working for took it up. We wanted to get her a pro bono lawyer to fight a case, and she was happy. Even she didn't have some documents. We told her that, okay, we told her how to go about it to get the documents. But you know what happened? This woman, I kept calling her after she came to our office, and she refused picking my call. I was the one running after her. She had problem. She was the one that had problem, but I was the one running after her because the case was pathetic. I don't know what could have happened to her. I don't know what they've told her that, oh, he married. Maybe the husband has even threatened her, or they've told her you have to endure it, oh, because and her life was on the line. Her life was on. The husband was beating her even in public, and she would sustain a lot of injuries and all that. Her life was on the line, and still she decided not to show up. She came to report, but she decided not to show up. Another reason why I think the effort of CSOs are not showing is poverty, over dependence on spouses, like what SIA is doing. When we found out that many women are dependent on their spouses for their livelihoods, they are not on their feet, they are not economically empowered, they are unemployed, and they are not empowered economically. So that gives them the reason to be enduring any form of abuse. Any form of abuse. Oh, if I leave now, how will I survive with my children and all that? So that's another thing. I think about the law too. The law is not properly, I don't know, people are not even aware of the law. And another thing is that we are covering up gender-based violence issues a lot. We are covering, especially if it's coming from, if the perpetrator is from a wealthy background and the victim is from nowhere, and you know that social insecurity is there, that if you report, we are going to this you know, threatening them because of their economic power. The list is endless, a lot and whole lot like that. And the victim is like, oh, if I report, they have power, so what do I do? Money kilo or you know, that kind of a thing. So that is why the prevalence is even still high. And also even the issue of stigmatization is another issue. A raped person, you know, rape is difficult, although work is going on it for it to be easily proven, but it's not easily proven, coupled with the fact that you are going to be stigmatized in the society. So you rather accept your fate rather than speak out. We are covering it up. We are not speaking out. We are not coming together. We are not teaming up. As we are not seeing ourselves as a team fighting this menace in our society.
Thank you so much, my darling Bukola Radiotv. I told you we have a guru in the house, and she has added her own voice to all the voices that have been saying that enough is enough. There should be a stop to all forms of gender-based violence. There should be a stop to all forms of abuse, assault of any form. And thank God we are celebrating the 16 days activism against on violence against women and girls. I want to use this medium also to beg all our stakeholders, the government, all the institutions that are directly connected with this, to please do what they are supposed to do. We need to end, it's not to reduce now. GBV must end. We can do it. We can. If we decide to do it, we can. Enough of rape. I had one terrible case last week. I was there, and even up to now, the girl is not in a very good shape. I'm coming by the grace of God next week to talk more on this. But I want to beg our health, justice, education, governance, all these sectors to please come to the aid of all CSOs that are genuinely working on SGBV in Osun State, in Nigeria and across the world, to help us to end this form of gender-based violence. So at this point, I want to appreciate my guests for coming to the program, for lending our voice, for being so amazing. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you, and I want to thank you. You are doing well. I love your organization, and that's why I said, okay, you need to come here and tell us, so that the whole world will know that we have an organization in Osun State that is here. Of course, we have it. They have the head office in Abuja. They are working seriously on women and youth, and of course, they've been working on GBV too. So I want to appreciate you, and I want you to relay my message to the Board of Trustees that they are doing well, and we are proud of them. Any other thing you want to say to wrap it up?
I'd like to say that gender-based violence is a violation of fundamental human rights, and it should not be tolerated in any form, in any way and in any form. Don't let go of your self-esteem because of money, especially young girls. Because of money, you see a rich guy is beating you. You're not even married. Even if you are married, if in any form of relationship, marital or premarital relationship, abuse of any form should not be tolerated.
Thank you so much. So we are signing off today, and we are coming back next week, Saturday, by God's grace, again to talk more about other social issues in our society. Again, my name is Bukola Ejade, and I'm from Heritage Life Support Initiative. I want to thank you. I want to thank my producer, Babatunde Iwa, for his support at all times, and I want to thank the management and staff of Orisunayo Radiotv for accepting me and accepting us. Thank you, and God bless you.
If Orisunayo event
ayé òde òní ó corporate tó standard conducive environment ló tún wà gbọ̀ngàn táyì ó ti gbà yín fún ohun tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ṣe bó ṣe fún pati sẹ́mínà àbẹ́yìnkéyìí meeting tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ṣe.
If Orisunayo
àyẹ̀wò ṣẹlẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ báàgì ọkọ̀ yín sí ààbò tó péye sí dájú lórí àwọn nǹkan ní yín lákàtà wa maximum security àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò dúró déédéé lẹ́nu ìloro tẹ́lẹ̀ ń ṣe patrol káàkiri náà gbà wá kó sáàyè fún un gbọ́mọyà àbáwọn tí ń daba tí láwọn event yín tẹ́ bá ṣe lọ́dọ̀ wa CCTV camera wà ní ṣẹpẹ́ tó mọ́nítọ̀ tó dẹ̀ ń rìkọ́ọ̀dù 247 ọgbà bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe wá sí ọgbà HIF event hall ẹ ti ní access sí free internet browsing and share and catering services video and photography event planning and decoration generator tún wà ní standby odúróore oya ní HIF Orisunayo event hall tó wà lẹ́yìn orí òkè pure water Ògoolúwa lágbègbè onward ìlú Òṣogbo nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ẹ kọ̀nẹ́ẹ̀tì olórí àti àṣekáyé www.hifevents.com.ng fún bookings ẹ pè wọ́n 08132953395 àbí 09055218439. HIF Orisunayo Events Hall gbọ̀ngàn gbàlódé ayé òde òní ó corporate ó standard conducive environment ló tún wà. Oh yes gbọ̀ngàn táàyè ó ti gbà yín fún ohun tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ṣe bó ṣe fún pati.